Good evening, Utah. Good to be with you. I'm Don Hudson. Welcome to the CW30 News at 9 o'clock. Let's jump right into the weather because that's what's affecting everyone and what everyone is talking about. We're looking outside. This is Logan. This is basically Main Street and 400 North, right there where the Chevron's there and the 7-Eleven and the Shell station there in Logan. Not too bad, but you can definitely see the snow is accumulating. We begin with team coverage. Rick Aaron is up in Brigham City where emergency crews are trying to manage water flow, but we want to start with Adam Carroll up on the Pinpoint Weather Porch with our first look at the forecast. Adam.
Well, you know, I mentioned it yesterday, but winter is back, and it is back with a vengeance as temperatures have completely done a 180, drastically cooling us off here over the last 24 hours. But, you know, we have a lot of weather going on across our region. We have the winter weather advisories in the purple shaded area across much of our state except for southeastern Utah. A blizzard warning up in Sweetwater County, a section of it around the South Pass area of Sweetwater County, and of course the Wind Rivers. But we do have some snow, mainly snow, not a whole lot of precipitation in terms of the form of rain out there, but satellite radar does show the clouds and the snow falling in this area, and also in our storm tracker radar, the snow all across our region from Elko up into the Wasatch Front Range, down into even the Uinta Basin and into southwestern Utah, where the snow is really coming down in this area, with rain falling across places like Dixie. But we have to talk about impending snow totals and also your traffic troubles coming into your morning commute tomorrow morning, Don.
All right, Adam, thank you very much. Now let's move on to the relief efforts and caring for flood victims up north of Brigham City. Good for Utah's Rick Aaron has been up there with crews all evening trying to get a grasp on that situation. So, Rick, what's the latest?
Well, Don, I can tell you these floodwaters have left several people without the basic necessities such as shelter, clothing, and food. Tonight, 7 different organizations, including the American Red Cross, the United Way, and the Salvation Army, turned this Methodist church into a multi-agency resource center, basically one-stop shopping for those affected by the flood. They filed in with different names and faces, but all with a similar story of basements filling with water over the past 6 days. Many have no flood insurance and need immediate help.
Instead of them having to go around to different agencies and travel from here to there, we try and bring all of the agencies to one spot.
Are you able to stay in the house right now, or are you upstairs?
Yeah, I'm staying in the other front room above it.
Denise Hancock has watched the basement of her Garland home flood repeatedly, creating a vicious cycle of damage, cleanup, and more water.
It's just crazy because you think, oh, you have it all cleaned up, you have it all vacuumed, and then the next day it's Groundhog's Day. You do it all over again.
And it's emotionally overwhelming, physically taxing, just, you know, the emotions. I mean, you feel a sense of accomplishment when you get the basement done, and then 2 hours later, it's like, what did I do?
Now, if you need help but we're not able to make it out here this evening, there is still assistance available. You can get the number for the American Red Cross of Northern Utah and the website for the United Way on our website. That's goodforutah.com. Reporting live in Brigham City, Rick Aaron, Good for Utah.
Hi, Rick, thank you. Flooding continues to devastate communities around Box Elder County. Residents today saw some relief as water levels dropped. Although with the snowfall, it's likely going to go back up in a few days. While some farmers might not even see the full extent of the damage until later, some businesses, they can already see their damage. We talked with one woman whose specialty indoor horse arena was damaged and has prevented them from training or renting out any of the space.
If you're a horse person, when you look at those pictures and you see the damage to the arena, it makes you want to cry because it's just so much of our lifestyle and a part of what we do.
Now, Tiffany says that they have likely incurred more than $50,000 in damages so far. They are using this time to prepare for what could still be on the way. Now, continuing in northern Utah, roads have been closed, fields are flooded, and earlier today, Lieutenant Governor Spencer Cox made a request from the federal government to step in and help out with some relief efforts. Good for Utah's Ilana Brophy has that story.
A new home, one mortgage payment, and now a mess.
Where we got to start over with, cleaning out this basement. I bought it with a finished basement, so it's frustrating.
Floating appliances and belongings ruined. Wyatt Brammer says the flooding in Garland has been going on for weeks. He stayed on top of it, though, but this latest round of wet weather was too much.
I went to grab sandbags, and in 20 minutes I came back with 6 inches in my basement.
Brammer's neighbor, James Adair, says the magnitude of flooding took everyone by surprise.
I did not think it would get this bad. I knew, okay, there's going to be some water, might have a little bit of flooding, but not that it was going to absolutely inundate my entire house.
Adair says he saw 36 inches in his basement. He lost furnishings, heat, and hot water. Now he wants to know why the state didn't step in sooner.
Asked the state repeated times, and they basically said that, you know, that they've already sent up the sandbags, and, you know, that was the help that they were going to give.
But the county and state say they've exhausted their resources. The lieutenant governor toured the waterlogged area by air and says the damage now exceeds criteria for federal emergency funding.
When you get 3 feet in a matter of 45 minutes, there's nothing anybody can do about that. So they're on top of it. We've got sump pumps lined out everywhere.
The rapid warm-up melted huge snow accumulations, and when you combine that with falling rain, you get trouble. Mother Nature just not wanting to play nice.
We've been praying for water. We've been in a drought, so you know we're grateful for the water that's here, but it all depends on how fast it comes down.
Again, that was Alana Brophy reporting. For the latest on the flooding and weather in our area, just download our Pinpoint Weather app from our website, goodforutah.com/apps. A 14-year-old Cache County teen is fighting for her life right now. The 16-year-old boys accused of shooting her in the head made their first court appearances this morning. According to the probable cause statements, the boys lured 14-year-old Desiree Turner to a trail that is in East Smithfield. Court records indicate the boys actually planned to stab her to death. The documents state the teens instead shot Desiree in the head, stole $55 among other belongings, and just left her in the dry canal to die.
This is as serious of a crime that we can possibly have. We obviously are concerned about the victim in this case and moving this case along so they know where we're headed with it.
Cache County attorney is working to make sure the boys face charges as adults. Today, a judge granted the defense's request to actually postpone the detention hearing until next week. Now, a family spokesperson talking about Desiree says that she remains in a medically induced coma. A suspect is dead after an officer-involved shooting in Ogden. Police say 25-year-old Bartolo Justice Zambrano and 20-year-old Zachary Scott Clark were prowling cars in a parking garage near 23rd Street and Kiesel Avenue. Police say they shot Zambrano after he aimed a gun at them. Police say they had a warrant for his arrest as well. Clark was arrested but then released because of a lack of evidence to keep him in custody. An FBI agent is accused of perjuring himself in the John Swallow trial. FBI agent John Isaacson was the final witness for the state in its case against the former Attorney General. Now, Swallow was facing corruption charges, and Isaacson told the jury about his role in bringing about those charges. He says it started with former Attorney General Mark Shurtleff in 2012 and evolved into Swallow and Shurtleff's so-called Timothy Lawson being investigated as well. On the stand, he testified about why the Department of Justice declined to file charges.
At that point in time, we were concerned that the statute of limitations was going to run on some of the charges as they related to Tim Lawson.
Now, he testified they worked with the district attorneys in Davis and Salt Lake County to bring about the charges, but the defense objected to this statement, claiming he perjured himself by not mentioning that during the pretrial motions. The judge didn't issue a ruling, but some attorneys outside the courtroom claim it could be grounds for a mistrial. Now, the Washington County Sheriff's Office arrested 2 men after finding child pornography on their social network pages. Investigators say that Landon Culver and Brad Cahoon both admitted to reposting pictures of a naked boy to their Pinterest pages. The boy was between the ages of 12 and 14. A search of their home found a recording device in a bathroom. Investigators also found guns and drug paraphernalia. Both men face charges of possession of drug paraphernalia, possession of a dangerous weapon, and voyeurism. New at 9, the Trump administration has withdrawn federal protections on transgender bathroom use in public schools. Now, this move overturns President Obama's directive that placed gender identity as a protection under Title IX discrimination in schools. In President Trump's 2-page Dear Colleague letter to public schools, the Trump administration says Obama's directive did not contain extensive legal analysis or undergo any formal public process. President Trump's letter does not offer new guidance for schools with transgender students. It simply nullifies President Obama's instruction. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. What happens when there's a medical emergency up on the mountain? The folks at Intermountain Healthcare and Intermountain Medical Center say they are prepared for anything. Now, we showed you how doctors at the clinic at Snowbird treat patients who are suffering from broken bones or maybe something as severe as a heart attack. Good for Utah's Saray Chin continues our 5-part series on winter sports injuries with the emergency and trauma doctors at the ready.
There's an elephant standing on my chest.
Vanessa, can we get an EKG going?
Yeah. Sir? I'm the doctor. I'm Dr. Guthrie. Unresponsive patient.
Okay, going into compressions.
Let's start chest compressions.
Dr. Ellen Guthrie conducts a mock drill of a heart attack patient.
No pulse.
Ready to shock, clear.
It's one of the many situations the people at Intermountain Healthcare and Snowbird prepare for at the clinic and on the mountain.
Okay, he's breathing. Okay, just support his breathing. And we're going to package him up and he'll be going to IMC.
Did you save his life?
We did. We've had 2 already just like this year.
The patient now heads to Intermountain Medical Center.
Just in the last month, we've admitted approximately just under 50 patients with sport injuries, winter sport injuries.
Brad Morris, a physician assistant at the trauma center at Intermountain Medical Center, says most winter sport injuries are from skiing and snowboarding, but occasionally they'll see patients who are sledding, snowmobiling, or even playing hockey.
You know, since 2002 in the Winter Olympics, state of Utah, which started out as a winter sports destination, grew into a worldwide winter sports destination. So sheer numbers of people that are on the mountain in the backcountry doing winter sports has grown.
I was a perfectly healthy, normal guy who was just out on the mountain snowboarding, and then I had it all taken away.
Tyler O'Rourke's injuries were so severe he was transported directly to the hospital in Murray and immediately taken into surgery. He had a broken back, ribs, injured spleen, dislocated wrist, among other injuries.
I just think about it, I'm like, I can't believe this happened to me, you know.
Tyler is thankful he was wearing a helmet.
approximately 30% of the patients that are admitted for ski and snowboard injuries have head injuries.
Not only does it keep your head warm, it keeps it safe. And the people you love and the people who love you want you to keep your brain safe.
Some good advice there. Saray Chin again reporting. Dr. Morris says a trend they're seeing in the emergency room is a huge increase of injuries among the elderly. He adds it's not that they're incapable of skiing, but their bones break more easily when they fall. In tomorrow's segment in this winter sports injury series, Saray takes a look at the recovery process that goes along with physical therapy.
Time now for Utah's most accurate forecast with Adam Carroll.
Take a look at this time lapse here today on the Toyota Trucks camera network. Here comes that big wall cloud of snow as it approached the Salt Lake Valley at right about 6 o'clock. It came barreling in. And boom, it came down the snow really hard for time being, actually. You can see the city lights pop on, but it came in with quite the fury. We were kind of waiting for it much of the day, and right on schedule, it shows up late afternoon hours. And we're going to continue to see the snow here throughout the evening, overnight, and also into tomorrow morning, where it's really going to get interesting here for your morning commute. But Morgan, you've seen some snow and considerable snow as of late, and it continues to fall up in Morgan as of this hour. Of course, the driveways are starting to get a little snow covered, and of course, the grass is completely snow covered. But Western Satellite Radar shows a lot of activity up in the Pacific Northwest, the Intermountain West, and then closer to home, you're looking at snow up in the north, snow in the central, and snow in the south. Now, the central part of the state, it's hard to see it because the radar is having trouble kind of shooting between the two that are set up between Cedar City and Salt Lake, but it is snowing along the I-15 corridor. So as we get in a little closer, snow showers around Elko County, not so much around the town of Elko or even Wells, but snow showers do exist out there. Across northern Utah, of course, the flooding issues up in Box Elder County right now, but now it's colder temperatures and snow falling, and Logan's seeing a really good amount of snow falling across areas of Logan, along that I-15 corridor, Davis, Weber counties into Salt Lake County, but it's pretty light right now across Salt Lake County. We're going to have a little lull tonight where we're not going to see a ton, but then it really gets ramped up tomorrow morning, and all of the Uinta Basin seeing snow right now falling across this area. Farther south into southwestern Utah, all the way down that I-15 corridor, it's getting a little rough and tumble from Cove Fort down to just north of St. George, as, of course, the elevation's a lot higher until you get into Dixie. But, yeah, we are dealing with some serious snow issues, and temperatures have completely changed course here over the last 24 hours. They were a lot more impressive earlier today for up in northern Utah as the front came a lot earlier, but down in the south, temperatures definitely have changed quite a bit. Now, in terms of your future cast, in terms of what we're going to see, still snow lingering throughout much of the region, but then it really ramps up tomorrow morning and into the afternoon hours, and we're going to see lake effect, that enhancement across Davis and Salt Lake counties, and that will happen in the morning hours tomorrow. So that will give us a really good shot of snow, but it will make that morning commute very slick. 2 to 5 inches valleys, 5 to 10 benches, mountain valleys 4 to 8. Northern mountains 18 to 36 inches. That's 1.5 to 3 feet, folks. 8 to 18 inches in the central mountains. And then we're looking at the I-15 corridor 3 to 7. Southwest Wyoming 1 to 3. Southwest valleys 2 to 5. And you can see why, because it's snowing at a pretty good clip down in that area. So that lake effect is really going to add on to our snow totals as we move through time. But snow continues throughout much of the day, really all the way down across much of the I-15 corridor until you get to about Cedar City. But as you progress farther south, areas, of course, places like Castle Country, eastern half of the state, southeastern Utah, not so much. But places like Bryce Canyon, Torrey, yeah, you'll see a little bit more in the snow department, the higher elevations. But 49 only in St. George, about 50, 53 over the next few days. Pretty quiet through the weekend. And then by Monday, then we have some storminess roll through, some winds as well across St. George. And for the Wasatch Front, well, we're going to remain active for the next couple of days. Breezy tomorrow. And then we are looking at a little bit more of some light snow on Friday. Break over the weekend, then another round of snow Monday into Tuesday. It's a little colder pattern than yesterday's 7-day forecast. Of course, we've got Oscars on Sunday night, Don. I know you'll be here.
I will be.
And that's, of course, on our sister station. But
I'm not up for any awards. I know you're probably confused, but I'll be here for the news.
Yeah, you might need to be.
Sure.
But
that wasn't bad acting right there.
Yeah, overall, we have to get through the next 24 hours.
Yeah, which is kind of good that it's cold because at least it's not rain, it's snow.
Well,
Eventually that'll be water
nice to
again,
see.
but maybe we'll get the sandbags up.
Yeah.
All right, much more news to come here. Filling storage units with extra stuff has been on the rise over the last few decades, but what is it that people want to keep so badly? A brief look just ahead. And a special cupcake baking contest for those young bakers of yours. Stay tuned for details on how your kids can enter.
You're watching Utah's CW30 News at 9.
Welcome back. It has been the fastest growing sector of the real estate industry basically for the last 40 years, bringing in nearly $30 billion annually. And we're talking about the storage industry. Believe it or not, there are more storage units in the United States than McDonald's and Starbucks combined. In just the last couple of decades, rentable storage space in the U.S. has grown to a whopping 2.5 billion square feet. That's 7.3 square feet for every man, woman, and child in the nation. Now, some of those people are dealing with life transitions. You know, they're going through maybe a death in the family, a divorce, displacement, or downsizing.
The very first guy I rented to in '98 said he'd be in for 3 months, and he's still here.
What are we holding on to, and why are we willing to pay to stow it away where we don't see it? We spoke to a sociology professor at the University of Utah and asked that question. We've got a hint for you. It is a complicated answer. Stuffed airs tonight on our sister station, ABC4 Utah News at 10 o'clock. All right, attention all young cupcake chefs. We're celebrating your sweet baking skills at the upcoming Salt Lake Tribune Home and Garden Show. Now, you have to be between 8 and 14 to compete in the Kids Cupcake Challenge. You can sign your child up online at goodforutah.com/contest. The winner will receive a $100 gift card to Spoons and Spice Kitchenware. You have until March 1st to enter, and we will be right back.